that have been raised by the opposition. Thank you.
I call the honourable member Darian Fenton.
Mr Chair, it's a pleasure to take a call on this bill. I'm going to be a bit kinder than my colleagues. And first of all, congratulating the original member who brought the bill. Members' bills are a big thing for individual members, so I congratulate Tom McLeay and then also Mark Mitchell, who I think did a good job at backbenches the other night explaining this bill. So I think it's very well intentioned. I don't doubt that it's well-meaning and that the members genuinely believe that this will make a difference. I wasn't on the select committee, so I don't have the benefit of the experience, but I have listened very carefully to my colleagues, and I have come to the conclusion that this is window dressing. This is window dressing, and I think the member over there, Mike Sabin, actually confirmed it. What he actually said is, even if it won't work, passing this bill will do no harm. That's what he said. Actually, I wrote it down as you said it, Mr Mitchell. Even if it won't work, passing a bill will do no harm. And as I've looked through this bill and looked at what the Select Committee have said about it, and particularly our members and the Green Party, I can see that they really struggled with definitions in this bill. They struggled with the definition of what a public place is, or what a public service or department or Crown entity, local authority and so on. And there's still the unanswered questions, and perhaps the member and the chair can take a call and answer the questions that I have about this. But what it seems to do is create a situation where you can have anomalies. So you can have, for example, someone wearing a patch in a bus shelter, because that's prohibited because it belongs to the local council, but they're allowed to stand on the footpath outside. You can have the same kind of intimidation outside of a school, because it's not public property, as you can, as you're not allowed to have in the school. So, I can see that gang members can be just as intimidating, if not more so, if they can stand outside public premises, outside a hospital and so on. The other thing I think about this bill too, if I were a gang member, I would be deeply disappointed if my gang was not mentioned in this list. And I would make it a matter of pride to get my name in legislation. Who has their gang mentioned in legislation? Where else would you be able to have such a badge of honour as to have your gang mentioned in legislation? And there's bound to be gangs that have been missed out. There's bound to be problems with identifying who the gangs are, and what the members have been saying is, while they were arguing about my colleague Mr Turakatini and saying that the people he was describing weren't covered by the bill, what this bill does expect is public servants, teachers and nurses to be able to identify what's a gang patch covered under Clause 4 in Part 1 interpretation, whether it's actually covered by this bill, this long list of the various gangs. And I think what Reno Turakatini was trying to describe is how easily people could be confused, and what a waste of police time that could be. Now, one of the things I've been following recently is the National Front. Have you seen the insignia of the National Front? They are not covered by this bill. They are not covered, but they are just as intimidating as many of the gangs that are mentioned here in this bill. So, how would a nurse or a teacher know the difference between a member of Hoo Hoo MC or Lone Legion MC or Mothers MC or Nomads? How would they know that? But they are listed in this bill. Realise. Well, they are. No, well, I wouldn't know who they are. I wouldn't know who they are. And I'm sorry, I haven't been a policeman like that for that member. This of the arrogance of the policeman on that side of the House is really getting a bit boring, to be honest. Look, I'm a lay member of the public. I'm putting myself in the shoes of ordinary, hard-working public servants, teachers and nurses, and asking a genuine question about how on earth they're supposed to be able to identify the people that are the gangs that are covered by this bill. Are they supposed to carry this legislation around with them? Are they supposed to, when someone comes into the hospital or the school wearing insignia, and as I said, there's many types of insignia, it's not just gang insignia, are they supposed to go up to them and say, you a member of the Bandidos MC? Or is that a gang, you know? Is that a gang under Clause 4 of the bill? Are they supposed to have a list on the wall? You know, these are people who are trying to teach our kids at school. These are nurses that are trying to deal with the injured that are coming through. And then they're supposed to ring the cops if they think that actually that, you know, they are covered by this bill. And then they've got to wait for a policeman. Now, the poor policemen, they have already had their resources cut under this government. And what this is going to do is add more pressure on cops who actually should be solving the crimes of ordinary people who are having their house burgled and other things, not wasting time. As I said at the beginning, it's well-meaning, ineffective.
The Honourable Dr Jonathan Coleman.
Very good bill, and it just amazes me that the Labor Party, I know they're the opposition, but that they could be opposing it, because this